Hello and welcome to day 1 of the Easter Craft Countdown, where I'm sharing a brand new free Easter Craft project every day for 10 days. We're kicking things off with this beautiful mandala egg design. The SVG file is free to download for the next 24 hours, so here's how to get it and how to make this beautiful Easter-themed papercraft project. If you haven't already registered your free ticket for the Easter Craft Countdown, go to craftwithsarah.com/Easter to do so. Click any of the sign up buttons on the page and enter your name and email to register. Once registered, check your inbox for an email from me with subject line Easter Craft Countdown ticket information, or any of the other emails from me that you've been sent throughout the countdown. Can't find them? Check your junk or spam box to see if they've gone there by mistake. These emails contain the link to view the countdown projects and download today's files. Scroll down the page to find today's project. Click the button to start the files automatically downloading to your computer or mobile device. Each download is only available for free for 24 hours after it goes live. If you've missed some, check out craftwithsarah.com/Easter bundle to purchase immediate and ongoing access to all of the files from the Easter Craft Countdown. Each file will also be available to purchase individually from my SVG shop once the free version has expired. All downloads come in zip folders. You need to unzip them before you can upload the files into Cricut Design Space. Once you've downloaded and unzipped the folder, it's time to get the SVG file into Cricut Design Space. Open up Design Space and start a new project, and then get into Upload over on the left, and then Upload Image. You can then either click Browse to find the file on your computer, or you can drag and drop it in. Make sure you choose the unzipped version of the folder, and then the file to choose is the one which starts SVG in the file name. I'll click and drag that in, and then it should look like this with all of the layers one on top of the other. If yours looks different and you see the layers next to each other instead, that means you've accidentally uploaded the wrong file. So if that's the case, click Cancel down on the bottom right and try again, and make sure you choose the one which starts SVG. Press Upload, and then the image will appear in your recent uploads. So you can click on it to get a green border, and then press Add to Canvas. Here is my egg all loaded in, and you can resize it if you want to by using the width and the height boxes at the top of the screen. You need to close the padlock icon first by clicking it. You might need to click it twice, it's a little bit buggy, but by doing that and closing the padlock, it means that if you change one of the sizes, so either the width or the height, let's go for 7 inches tall, then press Enter or Return on your keyboard, the width changes in proportion. This is the size I'm going to cut mine out, and I wouldn't recommend going too much smaller than this because some of these lines are quite thin, so it'll get a little bit tricky to cut if you make it much smaller. If you want to change the colour of the egg, you can go into the layers here by clicking each one, and then you can change the colour in this drop down. So for example, let's say I wanted to do kind of an indigo egg where it all gets darker the higher up you get. There isn't a darker one there, so I can click it and go into Advanced and then just drag it down darker. So that would look really pretty too. However you want to do the colours is absolutely up to you, but I'm going to stick with the originals. So let's go back to this one, and then this is all ready for me to cut out. To cut it out, press Make It over on the top right, and then this will separate out all the different colours. You can change the paper size in this drop down, and then what I also like to do to save space on my cardstock is to rotate the eggs around. If you press Shift on your keyboard as you rotate, you can do it exactly 90 degrees and then drag it right up to the top, and that means I'll then have all of this bit of the piece of cardstock available to use in a different project a different day. You'll need to change the sizes and do the rotations for all of the different colours. So go ahead, do all that, get it looking exactly as you want it to, and then press Continue to connect to your Cricut machine. Follow the on-screen instructions to get everything cut out from cardstock, and then I'll show you how to stick together your mandala egg. Here is my beautiful mandala Easter egg, all cut and ready to be stuck together. I've just put the layers one on top of the other to check that I'm happy with all the colours, which I think I am. I'm loving how much that this yellow is popping out from everything else, and then you've got the delicate pink on top. I'm going to be sticking this together with a combination of glue and foam squares. The glue I'm using is called Kalal. I really like it because it doesn't bend or wrinkle the cardstock like some glues can do, and I put it into these needle tip applicator bottles. They've got a really, really thin nozzle on them, which is going to be super important when gluing some of these top layers with the little thin bits of the mandala pattern. The foam squares I'm using are from Dot and Dab. My ones, they're quite small, which is again going to be good, but if yours are big, then don't worry, you can just cut them smaller with a pair of scissors. As with all my layered designs, we're going to start at the bottom and work our way upwards. So let's get the very two bottom layers, which is my sort of reddy brown coloured one, and then this one, which I've cut from a teal colour. But it's got a little dent in it because I was trying to use a scrap of card. I had a bit of card with just a little bit taken out, and I was really hoping it was going to fit, but it didn't quite. But it's going to get covered up so nobody will notice. I've turned this upside down so that I can add my foam squares on the back. If you were doing this design to maybe put on a greetings card, then you might want to just glue all the layers instead of using the foam so that it would be flatter and therefore cheaper to post. But if you're just displaying it sort of on its own in your home, or if you're putting it in a frame, then adding the foam is a really nice extra touch just to give it a little bit of dimension. I've put my foam around the edge, but I also want to try and get a good amount into the middle. Otherwise, if there's nothing in the middle, it's not going to be very stable, and you'll find that the card will sort of bend downwards and it won't look as good. Whereas if we put all these bits in, it's got lots to stabilise it. You're going to get it looking nice and flat, more professional, and it will give a better 3D appearance. Just a few bits in here. And that's looking good, so now I can peel all the tops off of my foam squares to reveal the stickiness underneath. Now that's done, let's stick it onto the base layer. I can't remember if this is exactly the same size or if it's a bit smaller. It looks like it's exactly the same size. That's good, that makes it easier. So I can just line it up. And then gently, oh, that wasn't very good. Let you see I haven't lined that up at the top very well at all. So I was about to say, gently drop it down. And the reason for that is if you don't line it up right, you can pick it up and move it, as I just did. Bit of a difficult shape to stick, really. No, that's much better. Push down to seal. Okay, my next layer is... Oh dear, I'm getting them all tangled. Look at that. Don't want to break anything. My next layer is this one. And this could either be a glue or a foam layer. And I've just dropped a little bit of yellow in there. I didn't mean to. So it depends on how adventurous you're feeling. Just, I've not quite picked all the little bits out. There we go, I think that's all of them. I am going to foam it, I think. But yeah, you could do either. So I'll start with that. Some nice big pieces there. This is going to be tricky. I might need to cut my foam squares smaller to make sure there's a good amount on there. Make sure when you're doing this that no foam peeks out over the edges or in any of the gaps in the cardstock, otherwise you'll be able to see it when you stick it together and when you turn it over, and we don't want to be able to see it. So just bear that in mind when you're sticking. I could do with a few extra pieces, I think. And I don't seem to have any scissors, so I'm going to have to run and get some. Scissors have been found. So I'm just going to cut down some of these right down the middle to cut them in half. These are now very, very small. But it means I can put them in some of these little areas. It does take a while, and it is a bit fiddly, but I promise that doing this and putting the effort in will lead to a better effect at the end. Just trying to work out if I can put it anywhere else. Maybe one in there. Try and get a few more in. I'm not sure if... Oh, look, that fits nice. I thought that was going to be not enough space for my phone, but that goes pretty perfectly in there. So, a few extra bits there. That's good, because that's quite a big bit of cardstock. Right, that's probably enough. Now, maybe one in there. Yep, perfect. Alright, now I have to peel all the tops off of these teeny tiny pieces, so I may be a little while. Right, now this can be stuck on top. And it's a bit easier to line up this time because we can see the pattern that's already there. There we go. The final layer is this one, and again, this one you can either glue or you can use foam for. As I've managed to do the foam on the yellow, thinking I could probably manage it on this one too. I set myself a challenge for the day. Last one. And this doesn't go all the way up to the edge of the layer underneath, it sort of sits in the middle. So I'm going to use the mandala pattern to know where to put it. Sounds fiddly. Right, there we go. Alright, so I said at the start that we were going to be using glue and foam, but I've actually done the whole thing with my foam squares. And I'm glad that I did put that effort in because it is looking really nice with all the dimension. But equally, if you just wanted to glue it, that would look beautiful too. I hope you enjoyed day 1 of the Easter Craft Countdown, making this beautiful mandala egg design. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for the rest of the Easter Craft Countdown. I'll be back tomorrow with another project. Thank you for watching.